Good morning, good morning. Hope you guys are doing good today. You already know who it is. Last night we read Genesis chapter 8, and that was talking about Noah and his family on the ark, and the waters were starting to come down after the flood, and we see that once that happened, Noah and his family and all the animals came out of the ark. So we're going to read chapter 9 right now, and then later on tonight we'll read chapter 10. And then after chapter 10, I'm going to update the instructions to man, and I will also post a video with a link on the timeline that we've got so far. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and start with Genesis chapter 9. God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fruitful, multiply, and fill the earth." So this is another example of a cycle going on in the Bible. We see earlier in chapter 1 and 2, God tells man to be fruitful and multiply. And he's telling that to Noah again because God just wiped everybody off the face of the planet. And then we see here, the fear and dread of you will be upon every wild animal, every bird in the air, every creature populating the ground, and all the fish in the sea. They have been handed over to you. So it's another, it's a reiteration of the fact that humans are supposed to be the images of God on earth, ruling over all of creation. Every moving thing that lives will be food for you. Just as I gave you green plants before, so now I give you everything. Only flesh with its life, which is its blood, you are not to eat. Okay, so I've got into debates with people over this verse who try to say that it's okay to eat unclean animals because God told Noah and his family that he was able to eat unclean animals. And they used that verse that I just read to as a defense. And I watched a video explaining this verse, and as we saw earlier, there was a distinction between clean and unclean animals when God told Noah to bring animals onto the ark. Now, I can't say this with surety because I don't speak Hebrew, and I wasn't there around the time that this was written to understand what verbiage and stuff that Moses used. But the video that I watched, and I'll probably link it, I think I'll link it for this, maybe later on today. But it says that the words used there to describe the moving things it's talking about, it's like a generalization of all clean animals. So what it should say is every clean moving things that live will be food for you. So any animal, any clean animal, right, is available for food. Except God doesn't want you to eat the animal with its blood in it. So there are some denominations that take that to the extreme, and they just don't eat any animals at all, which is fine. Originally, God had planned for us to eat just the plants. Now that we see, mankind was doing whatever they were doing, and God remade the earth, he now gave us animals, but animals are going to fear us. Instead of, we're not going to have that relationship with the animals like we did before. Now, because of human error, animals are going to fear us. On top of that, we're allowed to eat them now, so of course they're going to fear us. Where are we at? Yeah, so going back to the blood, you can't get 100% of the blood out of the meat. There's always going to be some trace of blood in there, but the blood that they're talking about specifically when they say not to eat blood is blood from the veins, right? Which is why they drain all of that before they eat the animal. So that's what it's talking about. It's not talking about all of the blood, because you can't get all of the blood out. There's going to be blood there, but the blood that they're talking about is blood in the veins. And that's where that's where you find, all kinds of crazy diseases and stuff like that. It's in the blood that's in the veins. That's where the life is. Continuing on, I will certainly demand an accounting for the blood of your lives. I will demand it from every animal and from every human being. I will demand from every human being an accounting for the life of his fellow human being. Whoever sheds human blood, by a human being will his own blood be shed. For God made human beings in his image. And you people, be fruitful, multiply, swarm on the earth, and multiply on it. So there's another command. Don't kill people. Any animal who takes a human life, when God calls up everything to be judged, he's going to call on those animals and be like, yo, animals, you done killed all these people. I'm gonna need payment for that. And that's kind of reassuring. If anybody knows anybody who's been killed by an animal or something like that, God's going to hold that. God holds that animal accountable. He holds that animal accountable just like he would hold a human accountable for taking another human's life. So we learn from that, don't kill anybody. God spoke to Noah and his sons with him. He said, as for me, I am herewith establishing my covenant with you, with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the livestock, and every wild animal with you, all going out of the ark, every animal on earth. I will establish my covenant with you that never again will all living beings be destroyed by the waters of a flood, and there will never again be a flood to destroy the earth. God added, here is the sign of the covenant I am making between myself and you and every living creature with you for all generations to come. I am putting my rainbow in the cloud. It will be there as a sign of the covenant between myself and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow is seen in the cloud, I will remember my covenant which is between myself and you and every living creature of any kind, and the water will never again become a flood to destroy all living beings. The rainbow will be in the cloud, so that when I look at it, I will remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of any kind on the earth. So here we get the instituting of the rainbow, and the rainbow is a sign to all life that God is never going to flood the earth to destroy everything again. Every time that it rains and God sees that rainbow, he remembers us and the covenant that he made with Noah and his family. And since we are all descendants of Noah's 3 sons, that goes to everybody on planet Earth. God's never going to destroy us or the planet with a flood again. So Christians, we need to take the rainbow and tell people the truth about it. It should not be used for it shouldn't be used to symbolize what it symbolizes today. That is straight up abomination. And we need to take it back because it's ours. God said to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant which I have established between myself and every living creature on earth. The sons of Noah who went out from the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham is the father of Canaan. These 3 were the sons of Noah, and the whole earth was populated by them. Noah, a farmer, was the first to plant a vineyard. He drank so much of the wine that he got drunk and lay uncovered in his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father shamefully exposed, went out and told his 2 brothers. Shem and Japheth took a cloak, put it over both their shoulders, and, walking backward, went in and covered their naked father. Their faces were turned away so that they did not see their father lying there shamefully exposed. When Noah awoke from his wine, he knew what his youngest son had done to him. He said, "Cursed be Canaan. He will be a servant of servants to his brothers." Then he said, "Blessed be Adonai, the God of Shem. Canaan will be their servant. May God enlarge Japhet. He will live in the tents of Shem, but Canaan will be their servant." After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. In all, Noah lived 950 years. Then he died. So, talking about what Ham did. His father got drunk. Apparently he got naked and then went to go rest in his tent. Ham saw his dad, in his drunken stupor, thought it was funny, right? And went to go tell his brothers and stuff like that, disrespecting his father. And as we know, one of the 10 Commandments is to honor your father and your mother. That way your life will be prolonged in the land that you live in. Obviously, that's not what happened. And one thing that people don't realize is, or something that people ask as well, how is it that Noah cursed his Ham's descendants, but he didn't curse Ham? Well, you have to remember, when God blesses somebody, you can't curse them, right? And when God curses somebody, you can't bless them. And God blessed Ham. And we find that out a couple of verses ago. God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply." So God already blessed Ham. Even though Ham was doing evil things, right? God still blessed him. And because God blessed him, nobody can curse him. God is the only person who can punish somebody like that. So what did Noah do? He blessed Ham's descendants. Now, I also was doing some research on this because in different translations, they speak of this story differently. And it talks about something that he did apart from seeing his dad naked. And I don't know how true it is, but when you read those other translations, if you ever get to it, it sounds like... from the research I did, if somebody in your family were to, like, if they were to sleep with oh man, I can't remember exactly. I'll have to come back to it and talk about it another time. But it was some crazy things that they were talking about. Like, apparently Ham had slept with his own mother, and Noah was drunk, and because back in in those days, if you were to take somebody's wife like that, then their household would become yours. So because Ham slept with his mom, right, which is Noah's wife, that would make Noah, or no, not Noah, but that would make Ham the head of household, basically, or something like that, and that definitely would bring dishonor to his dad. So, I don't know which is true. It's kind of weird to think about, but I mean, it's a completely different culture, and doing something like that definitely is dishonoring, and I would definitely curse my son if he did that. But I don't know how true that is. And I can't remember which translation I read that had made it sound like that. But if you ever get a chance to look up what Ham did in Noah's tent on YouTube, and there are some videos that explain it. And I don't know how true it is, but you never know, man. You really never know. Anyway, that's all of chapter 9. I will see you guys later on tonight for chapter 10. You guys meditate on the word, pray about the word, pray for everybody, especially during times like these. We need some healing up in America. We need some healing up in the world, period. God said he wasn't going to destroy the planet anymore with water, but he never said anything about pestilence, plagues, fire. He never said anything about that. So keep that in mind. Just because God isn't going to destroy the world by a flood because of man's sin doesn't mean he won't destroy the world in some other way. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you later.